Dun 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 dun. Please don't copyright my voice, YouTube, please. Hey everybody, this is a little late, but you know what? I had a chance today on Tuesday to watch this movie, so here we are. Finally, this is sort of technically the beginning of Phase 4, which should have been last year, but since the movie got delayed due to the pandemic, but now as of July 6th, it came into release. But as of Tuesday, I have completely watched it, and I'll be honest with you guys, I absolutely love it. But it's not one of the greatest films of all time, because I'll get to that too. So here we go. Black Widow, directed by Kate Shortland. It stars Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, and many others. And let's start beginning with the story. So the story takes immediately after like the moment when Captain America and Iron Man completely just called it quits to their Avengers relationship. Black Widow, which technically was picking both sides at the same time, she technically got snitched by Black Panther. Ross Thunderbolt immediately just goes after her, and while that happens, she literally just completely said like, "Sorry, but I'm actually in another place." From there, she's at a different place. She leaves America. So the story is like her just being on the run, and that's pretty much about it. And then later on, she completely comes in, and then this is the part where Taskmaster immediately comes into fray. And then right here, let's just say like her past is pretty much here to haunt her back again. So that's all the story is. Anyways, the story is good. Blah. Of course, like there's no denying this too, but like, of course, Scarlett Johansson here as Black Widow is the best part of the movie. Come on, there's no denying here. Here, going back to her past and completely, like, on the run from everything. And then, yeah, and of course, her performance here is absolutely spectacular, and there's no denying that too. And especially reuniting with what made her Black Widow in the first place, and then just escaping from all of this. It completely, like, humanizes her of like what it shows, like how she was when she was a kid, because here how the way they explained her story when she was a child, and supposedly how things completely turned out to be, and her split between her family, it was just completely sad and tragic. And then this is the moment when she becomes the Black Widow. Yeah, her story is good. Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, wow, she is amazing. She is great, and I'll be honest, I really thought that when I was looking at the trailers, I was like, I know for a fact that she's gonna be like the comedy side of the movie, and she was. And some of the jokes really did land. There's some of them that weren't, but here, she really kicks ass as Yelena, and I thought she was absolutely fantastic, especially her lack of fashion, especially with like a jacket with a bunch of pockets. Yeah, look at that, that's so cool. And I'm like, oh my god. But anyways, I thought her performance was really great. And let's talk about Alexei Sagonkov as Red Guardian. Excuse my Russian, but I thought he was really great. But I'll get to the moment later. I really liked him as Alexei. But when Red Guardian comes into place, well, I really liked his appearance. But we'll get to that in a little second too. So let's just begin with the supporting cast. The supporting cast here was with Melina as the mother, and then of course Rick Mason, who is the pretty much like who used to work with Black Widow back in the day, and does pretty much like independent stuff, like private like like if anything happens to like her and stuff like that. And that's his thing. I thought their performances was great, especially Melina, the mother. I thought she was really good. Especially I can't, even though this movie kind of feels like a James Bond movie, but seeing that James Bond's wife is actually in this, and I thought, I was like, wow, what a crazy coincidence. And yeah, and I thought, to me, the supporting cast here was fantastic too. And also the family dynamic too, when the family reunion immediately happens too with Alexei, Melina, Yelena, and then Natasha. I thought it was really cool. I would have loved a little bit more of it too, but it was kind of awkward, even though how Alexei was going, like, hey, listen to your mother. And I was like, at times it felt a little awkward, but at the same time I was like, like he was a comedy too, especially Yelena. But in the end, I really liked the family dynamic. I thought it was really cool, especially the relationship between Natasha and Yelena, and I thought it was really good. And yeah, I really did like it too. The action was absolutely spectacular. I was like, man, this, like, I know for a fact that this is gonna feel like a James Bond action film, and it is. And I thought it was really good, and it fits. So, in my opinion, I really did like the action in this movie, and I thought it was really fantastic too. So, props to that too. And then, it's my favorite moment of the movie, like my favorite action scene out of all of them. A Black Widow immediately fights against a horde of, what made her in the first place. And with that, I thought it was really fantastic. The action was fantastic. And here we go with the cons. you guys were wondering, why haven't you mentioned Dreykov and Taskmaster? Well, they were disappointing, but the most disappointing out of all of them was Taskmaster. Oh my god. I'll be honest, I'll protect on just one thing too. How the way Taskmaster fought in this movie was absolutely great. I liked how the way Taskmaster fought in this movie. But Taskmaster was plain as wood, and then there was a reveal of who Taskmaster really is under the mask, and I was like, so, that's it. And I'll be honest with you, I was like, what? So that would really underwhelm me. Great fighting with Taskmaster though, but kind of an underwhelming villain. And also as Dreykov, the villain too, who pretty much is the one who's behind all the Black Widow agency and how the way they got him too. Kind of a sad story too, because this is the guy that pretty much like, you know, like girls are abandoned and stuff like that, and they pretty much like, you know, take them and then and train them as a young kids, and then they literally do some pretty fucked up shit to them too. And I'm like, this guy is kind of like an asshole, but at the same time, his motives are a bit generic too, because we get to see a little bit of backstory of what he actually did behind the scenes too, especially during the moments when he was like pretty much in charge of all the Black Widows, and how the way he got into like, you know, getting into politics, involved in these attacks and stuff like that. And I was like, this guy's kind of involved. But his motives here were a bit generic, and he was kind of a bit underwhelming. And same thing with Taskmaster too. And speak about Taskmaster, the fight between Taskmaster and Red Guardian, I was like, oh shit, it's about to go down. That was so underwhelming that I was like, I'm gonna see a fight. But literally, like, here's the scene, and like, I think someone in the editing forum was like, we'll cut this out, we'll put that in, cut that part, put that in, and then we'll cut that part, and you know what, let's get that out of the way. What the fuck? Why did you tuck that off? And it disappointed me, and I was like, man, I really wanted to watch a really cool fight between Red Guardian and Taskmaster, but that shit was immediately cut into pieces. And how the way they edited it, I was like, man, that was a bit underwhelming. That kind of sucked. And that was another disappointing too about the Red Guardian. And how the way they kind of underused him, I was a little pissed off. And I was like, damn, I was really looking forward to him. And then, yeah, and I was literally like, I hope he acknowledges Captain America, and he does. But they kind of underused him, and I'm kind of disappointed about that too. So I don't know, like, there's rumors that I heard that they are going to bring back the actors for Red Guardian, Melina and Yelena for future installments, and that's already been confirmed. But I don't know how they're going to come back, and I don't know what stuff. Maybe the Thunderbolts, rumored Thunderbolts Disney Plus show that's going to be happening soon, or in a future Disney Plus where they're going to make an appearance or something like that. I don't know, but they did set up something in the post-credit scene, actually after credit scene, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But in the end, I was like, those are like two bad things that I kind of didn't like about the movie. But is this movie worth watching? Yes, go watch it in theaters. Fuck the $30 Disney Plus thing. Don't watch it on Disney Plus. Go watch it in theaters. I know everybody's scared of going to the movie theaters, but where I go to the movie theater, I just completely like go to this area. I'll just sit in the middle. The other ones will leave it open. That way, I don't want anybody to be touching me or making any stupid moves or anything like that. So yeah, I'm good. And with that, you're good. You're gold. So yeah, watch it in the movie theaters. Don't bother paying $30 freaking in Disney Plus unless you have someone who was like, you know, like, hey, how about we pay you this and pay you that? Okay, cool. But at the same time, I'm like, no, just no. But hey, at least HBO Max is more reasonable. Hate to be a dick, but it's true. Anyways, in my opinion, my final verdict of this movie is an 8 out of 10. I wanted to give it a 9, but they underused Red Guardian. Taskmaster was so underwhelming, and especially the villain, and how the way he revealed things too. But I give it an extra point too because of how the way Taskmaster fought in this movie. I thought the fights between Taskmaster and Black Widow, the first fight was actually fantastic, and especially the second round, which was cool. It was a bit of a chase scene, and the third fight, which was like, you know, like you see in the trailers, but I thought that was cool. But how the way they finished it off in the end, I was like, eh. But in the end, this movie is an 8 out of 10. It's really fantastic. I'm definitely going to put this on my top 10 movies of the year. I'm a sucker for superhero movies, as you can see. Look at that. Look at that. I love the Avengers, and I literally am a huge fan of. Anyways, guys, that's it. That's all. That's it of the video. So I'll see you guys in the next one for sure, and I'll promise you upcoming videos soon. And full-on fledged reviews, and especially with Suicide Squad right around the corner, I'll maybe giving a Birds of Prey a full review, and same thing for Wonder Woman 1984. So I can pretty much say, hey, you forgot about those. Guess what? I caught up. You're welcome. So I want to give that the benefit of the doubt. Anyways, guys, see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.